Hello, everyone. I'm just so grateful that you are here today. And whether you're joining from your kitchen or your car or somewhere in between, I believe it's no accident that you showed up tonight. We're going to be diving into some really deeply personal and incredibly powerful ways that you can live life without regrets and how to step into a life that's truly fulfilling. So, we're going to dive into something that's super personal and incredibly powerful because we're talking about how to have the kind of success that's not just good on the outside, but really good on the inside as well. Let me ask you guys something. Have you ever had a moment where you looked back and thought, man, I just wish I would have done that? Or what would have happened if I had taken that chance? Some of our deepest regrets don't come from the mistakes that we made, but from some things that we didn't do. What is something that maybe you didn't do, a risk that you didn't take, a dream that you never pursued, maybe a conversation that you were too afraid to have? And here's the good news. It's not too late. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." He's uniquely wired you with your gifts, your passion, your strength to make a difference. And so there's something called Ikigai, and it's a Japanese concept, which means the reason for being. And it's actually the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what God's called you to, and then also what you can be paid for. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it's the Lord's purpose that prevails." And basically it's, okay, what do I love to do? What has God called me to do? What am I good at? And what can I get paid for? So right now I want you to think about, we're going to share out loud some of these things. And if you look at these intersections, like what I love to do and what am I good at, that's my passion. What has God called me to do, where it intersects with what do I love, that's my mission. And then what can I get paid for intersects with the bottom two, and that's my job or the money that I can make on the side. But when it intersects with all of these, then that is my purpose. What is something you love doing that makes you feel alive? And what's something you're really good at that people often come to you for? And if fear wasn't in the way, what's one dream that you would go after? One of the things that I love doing is I love teaching people about godly wisdom. I love teaching people with their finances. I love teaching people how to be a godly mother. I love teaching people how to eat healthy. There's certain things that I love teaching people how to do, but I think in my mind, I feel like that's more of a ministry. It's kind of a lie that I've told myself, is that I help people with these things, but I can't really get paid for that. Does that make sense? So what I want you to think about is, what would I do? Because again, the devil lies to you and tells you things like, this is what your passion is, right? And then the devil comes in and says, well, you couldn't actually get paid for that. Like, that's the lie that the devil tells me, is like, yeah, you're really good at this and you're good at this and you're good at this, but that's not something that people would pay you for. So that's what I want you to share right now is, what is the lie that you have believed? Either it's fear. If fear wasn't in the way, what is a dream that you would go after? Or number two, I want you to share, what is a lie that you have told yourself, hey, I can't do this and make a living from that. And I'm too afraid because I'm too busy doing what I'm doing to make money, and I still need to make money to survive. So I can't step out and do that other thing. I love this verse in Ecclesiastes 2:11. It says, "Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun." And basically what that verse means is, when it's all said and done, we're not going to be remembered for how much money we made, what the titles we had, or even the businesses that we built. Like, all that fades. Your purpose, your God-given reason for being, that's the only thing that lasts. So Ecclesiastes 2:11 says says that chasing worldly success can feel meaningless. So that's the biggest thing is like, okay, what has God called us to do? There's another verse in Psalm 37:4 that says, take delight in the Lord. He will give you the desires of your heart. I want you to focus right now in saying, okay, and one of my favorite verses in Isaiah, and it says, whether you turn to the right or to the left, you'll hear a voice behind you saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. And one of the most powerful things we can do, take a verse and we quote it back to God, right? Like we basically throw it back to him and we're like, Lord, now you say in your word, whether I turn to the right or to the left, I'm going to hear a voice behind me saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. So right now I'm asking you for you to have that voice behind me saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. What is it that you want me to do? It's a very powerful verse for you to be able to quote. Are you more outgoing or are you more reserved? And are you more people focused or task focused? I'll give you an example of real estate. There's people who are like, oh, I've had a dream that I could be a real estate agent. Well, guess what? If you are extremely introverted and you're more task focused and you're not very people focused, that might not be the right fit for you. You also want to figure out, okay, yes, I want to go after my dream if fear wasn't in the way, but you also have to go, what has God actually given you? What are the gifts that he's given you? It's just like me. I could never be a wonderful singer. I could never do that because that's not, God never gave me that. I'm like a horrible singer. So whether I like it or whether I don't, I'm not good at it, right? So you have to balance that as well. There is a verse in 2 Timothy 1:7 that says, for the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. So we have to stop waiting for the perfect time because God uses imperfect people in imperfect situations. It clearly says God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of self-discipline. So what are things that you love doing? Just write them down that make you feel alive. What are things that often people praise you for? Just start writing them down and just keep asking God. Because sometimes you push things, your dreams down so much that you don't even know what they are because every time they pop up, it's like that whack-a-mole and it pops up and you kind of go, no, and you just whack it, whack it. And it's a dream that you've delayed out of fear. And so I want you to really, really think about that. And maybe you've tried it a couple times and it's not working. And Galatians 6:9 says, let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And so you are uniquely gifted for a purpose that the world needs. And so I want to really just encourage you guys to just release that fear, embrace your faith, and remember it's never too late to keep going. And so you need to just get encouraged. You need to be around a group of people that are going to say, okay, we're going to reignite your passion. We're going to stir up your dreams. We're going to guide you to a life of fulfillment with no regrets. But you have to be able to get quiet with God to be able to learn what those are. Because like I said, it's that whack-a-mole game. Every time it pops up, you go, oh, that's not going to work. I've already tried that. I've already done that. And let me whack it down and whack it down. And it's time for you to release that. And the way that you actually release that is in a group like this, but also quiet with God and getting time alone with him every single morning. I'll tell you a story about my mom. One time she was over, this was about like 15 years ago, and I always did a quiet time with God every day. But I saw her and it was at night and she was reading her Bible and I'm like, Mom, you already did your devotional. Why are you doing it again? And she goes, the Bible says meditate on his word day and night. And so I want to encourage you to be spending time with him in the morning and at night and just getting quiet before him and asking him that question of what do I need to stir back up in me? What do I need to get rid of fear on? So let's discuss that right now. We can type that in the chat. What is one thing that is actually holding you back from your dreams that you are doing. And I'll give you a perfect example. For me, it's hosting way too many people over at our house. So when people come over, I like our house to be like literally like not even one crumb out of place. Like I like the house literally showroom perfect. It takes effort and time. And like lately, our house has been a revolving door. Like people have been coming over. They're like, we're coming down to visit. And it's just been like a revolving door. And so I've just been pouring out and to so many people and allowing people to come over. And that's actually held me back because I'm spending so much time on that, I'm not focusing on what I'm doing with my passions and some of my purposes. And I feel like I am pouring into people, and that is part of what I love to do. But I've been doing it too much and not been able to go back to what I'm doing. That's number one. And number two is because I kind of like what Tony said, I believe I'm called to do something that scales. Like I just feel like God's called me to do something really big and it scales. So when something is small and I'm pouring into like just a few people, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing my calling as much because I'm only pouring into a few people. But God's been working on me on that as well. Like just that, like some of the speakers I've listened to, almost everyone was like, when I first started, I spoke to 5 people. When I spoke, I did, it was me and 10 people or whatever. So I think that's another thing that has kind of been in the back of my mind that's held me back just a little.